The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, dedicated to creating access to financial well-being for local people, businesses, and communities. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, pipes and cabers and more information about the upcoming Glasgow Lands Scottish Festival, including a taste of the oldest continuously operating pipe band on the continent. Yes, we're bringing a piper into the studio.
Yes, we are.
We'll see how that's going to go.
And senior editor at Merriam-Webster, Emily Brewster, restores us and our knowledge of the language with a look at the words restaurant and restaurateur and what keys that gives us for looking at other words with those endings.
But first, tomorrow night in Amherst, a transatlantic friendship takes the stage at the Drake with Peter Blanchett and Eilish Kennedy.
Peter Blanchett is based in Northampton, Massachusetts, the inventor of the 11-string arch guitar, a distinctive instrument that merges elements of the guitar and the lute. His diverse repertoire spans medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque music, as well as traditional Irish and Scottish tunes, Italian film scores, and his own compositions.
I'll also add that he was the founder of the Happy Valley Guitar Orchestra, which is part of our theme music. We use their version of Wilco's One Wing very frequently for our promos, etc. Eilish Kennedy, hailing from Dingle, Ireland, comes from a family where music and the Gaelic language are deeply embedded in daily life. Fluent in both Irish and English, Kennedy has received critical acclaim for her original songs and adaptations of traditional Irish music.
The duo's performance on Thursday will bring luminous interpretations of the Irish language songs and also premiere Blanchett's newly composed settings of Emily Dickinson poems, This World Is Not Conclusion. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. Let's start out with a song.
Yes.
Why not?
An Irish one, this one.
We're going to start with an Irish one.
Okay.
Why not? Gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat Dolian sutroi yoch filoni agus gogi yoga konyelan Gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat Dolian suduni yoch khuluni agus gogi yoga konyelan Gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat Sa sliavi yoch na garfiagi agus gogi yoga konyelan manat Gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat Dolian sa glauni yoch fargami agus gogi yoga konyelan manat Gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat agus gogi yoga konyelan manat konyelan manat
Kennedy and Peter Blanchett are playing the Drake in Amherst tomorrow night, playing for us on this Live Music Wednesday.
And getting ready to premiere new compositions. So I was reading a little bit about how the Emily Dickinson thing came about. Do you want to talk a little bit about that project coming to the fore and working on it?
Sure. Well, I suppose it happened because I was visiting, and we passed by. Well, I passed by what I thought was the Emily Dickinson house, and when I got to Peter's house, I asked him a little bit about it, and we went to visit.
Yes.
And
The next day, she had. What better way to get over jet lag than a visit to the Emily Dickinson Museum?
well, I love museums anyway.
was-
I love all sorts
Yeah.
of museums. We love museums. Museums are good for you people.
Yes.
Agreed.
And that one is really good.
Yeah.
And it's really lovely. And I love Emily Dickinson. And so you really kind of came up with the idea of.
Yeah, well, when we
Music.
went there, we both. I mean, I'd been there before, and I thought it would be a great thing for Eilish to see. As there's a lot of poetry in her family, in her blood, and I had been there not long before that, and we went there and we had this lovely tour. Shout out to Melba, who did a great job with us, and when we were working on Irish songs, like the song, I was working on these arrangements that I've been writing for these Irish songs, and I love doing that. And then we both got so, sort of bitten again to look at her poetry. And a long time ago, somebody said to me that the meter in Emily Dickinson poems is so regular that you can't write music to it. In other words,
Haven't you heard the Gilligan's Island theme?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And what's the other song that it worked? Oh, Yellow Rose of
Yellow
Texas.
Rose of Texas.
Which, by the way, I would submit that's not too bad for songwriting if poetry. So, but
And for those who don't know, you can take virtually any Emily Dickinson poem and plug them into the Gilligan's Island theme or Yellow Rose of Texas and make it work.
Yep.
yeah, well,
So that's what we did.
It's all Gilligan's Island theme over and over again.
The
So
proof
here we
is
go.
indeed
This
in the
is
pudding.
the tale of our castaway. No, that's not where we're going with this, people. That's not where I was going
Thank
with
God
it.
for that.
No.
But they said you can't set it to music.
That's back when I was a captive at, music composition school, and I was told that by, that was a certain too cool for school of composition, and like one of those things. I'm looking at the words, and I love the poetry so much. It's so vivid and it's so crazy. It's so radical. Her poetry is so radical to me, and I just thought, like, I'm arranging these songs which are in Irish, which I don't speak Irish. I'm trying to learn the words. I have no choice right now. So but I'm hearing these melodies in my head, and I'm reading the poetry, and nothing could be further from the truth. The fact that the rhythmic sort of consistency of those poems makes them a joy to write music to, and the imagery in them. The imagery is limitless. So if you can only come up with
And the moods as well. I mean, all the different moods and colours.
right, and what she chooses to write about, anything from mortality to a bee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing off limits to Emily Dickinson. And anyway. And so I'm working with this singer, and I'm really loving writing arrangements for myself to play with her singing. And I thought, this is an opportunity to write some music. And so I guess I've been picking poems. I've been told it's not Eilish who picks them, but it's me. But I pick ones I think you'll really like.
Well, because you're interpreting the musically, I guess, because the words are really important to me. The words of anything, songs are, but I guess you're able to, put them into what you want to put them into. And obviously, so many people know so many of her poems that the first thing that most people have asked us is, "Are you doing
this one,
this one, and this one, and this
Yeah.
one?" And we're sort of saying we're probably not going to do any of the ones you're very familiar with. maybe a few surprises. So that's why it's really nice to leave that choosing to Peter at the moment, anyway.
Also, there's like 1,800 of these.
At
like,
least,
how
yeah.
am I going to remember? How am I
Yeah.
going to get your specific one?
Exactly.
Done to music.
Exactly.
Like, the chances of us picking the same one are so slim.
Yeah, exactly.
You were saying how, Ailish, the words are so important to you.
Yes.
And Peter was saying how he doesn't understand Irish yet. What were the words of the first song that you performed? What was the general theme of that song, and what was it called, and perhaps translated into English?
The first song we just did.
Yeah.
So it's called Guggy Uggy Canyon at Manad, and it's about a little bird who's building a nest. And colloquially, where I come from, when we were little, Guggy was an egg. So she's talking about where am I going to go? Each verse is a situation where she wants to build her nest, but there's a danger lurking there, and so she moves on to the next place. And I only did some of the verses, by the way, because it's a lullaby and it stretches, it's elastic. But it's a beautiful old song that we were taught when we were in school, but it was in our household at home. So I think when I recorded the unaccompanied versions of it, that one really stood out to you as one that you liked doing, as far as I remember.
It did. Yeah, and that's what's fun about doing this for me is that those songs, I encountered them with nobody playing guitar to it, nobody playing fiddle to it. So, which I really was psyched to be able to do, because I didn't want to try to sound like. Not because I don't like anybody else's accompaniments to songs, but it's a rare opportunity when you get to just hear a melody and the words and say, well, what does that do for you? What do you?
And what can you build around it?
Yeah.
And so I just knew that there was a what's the adjective? There was a not desperation to that lyric, even though I didn't understand
Urgency.
it. Urgency. Yeah, there was an urgency. And to me, the urgency just really had this sort of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of repetition in it as well, so it's very mantra-like. It's it's actually very soothing, which is why it's often a lullaby.
Right.
Even though it's probably not really, because it's all about danger.
And there's a little danger in the urgency that you put in the arch guitar, too.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a little break here.
Yeah.
And are we going to be able to hear one of the Emily Dickinson ones on the
We'd
other
love
side
to
of it?
do one.
Yeah.
That would be
Yes,
awesome.
that is excellent. And we are speaking with Ailish Kennedy and Peter Blanchette, who are going to, tomorrow night, July 17th, be at the Drake in Amherst, right down the street from Emily Dickinson's house, performing at the Drake.
Yeah, you can maybe do a little bit of both. You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 and EPM.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. We are joined in the studio by Ailish Kennedy and Peter Blanchette, who are going to be playing at the Drake in Amherst tomorrow night. And there is a new project which includes Peter Blanchette's guitar playing, the arch guitar playing, and the words of the iconic poet Emily Dickinson. Unfortunately, Ireland didn't have any poets to choose from, so we went with the
didn't have any.
None at all.
Amherst-based poet. I'm just kidding.
Fighting words.
Yes, and but let's hear one of these new works that we might be able to hear tomorrow night at the Drake.
You definitely will be able to hear it tomorrow night. This is called I'll Tell You How the Sun Rose.
I'll tell you how the sun rose, a ribbon at a time. The steeple swam in amethyst, the news like squirrels ran. The hills untie their bonnets, the bubbling's begun. Then I said softly to myself, that must have been the sun. But how he said, I know not. There seemed a we're climbing all the while. Till when they reach the other side, a Dominion grey, but gently up the evening bars and let the flock away, away, away.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Hamish Kennedy and Peter Blanchett doing a poem from Emily Dickinson, I'll Tell You How the Sun Rose. I was hoping it was going to be, I'll tell you how the sun rose, a ribbon at a time.
See?
People swarm and amethyst, the news like squirrels ran.
It works.
But
I'm sorry to disappoint
I
you.
liked your version a lot better. Some beautiful chord changes. It's also been a delight to watch Khalees watch Peter Blanchett play the guitar, mesmerized. Eyes fixated on the arch guitar.
Every time somebody plays in a style that, like, you can always learn something from somebody else's guitar playing. And I'm
That's
just like,
the truth.
the ease at which you're able to do such nuanced things on this neck, I'm just like, I am so envious.
It only takes, 40 years and the willingness to still make really bad mistakes.
No. You have to make those mistakes because otherwise you don't learn from them. But
Yeah.
like each time I see you, I'm just like, oh, I really should have taken 2 semesters with the lute while I was still in school.
Ooh,
Yeah.
lute
Yeah.
is. There's a reason those things were around for hundreds of years.
I mean, it's so wonderful and so differently tuned.
Yeah, that's the key
But
of
it's the
C,
key.
which singers, lutes were really, well, my guitar is sort of a kind of a, combination of a lute and a guitar. And
Right.
one of the wonderful things about it is the things about it that make it like a lute are things that singers really like, because lutes were really made to accompany singers, not to play so much. But then, of course, playing came out of it. You
Right.
know?
But it has a lovely, comforting, space for a song.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know, for a
colors.
singer.
When she sings too, like what's so much fun about, the words to that poem. It's hard. When it says there seemed a, but how he said, I know not. There seemed a purple style. That little yellow boys and girls were. So the way she just looks at this distant, cloud in the sky or something while the sun, and to me, like I try to get away from her in terms of sound so that you can hear that word, little yellow boys and girls were climbing all the while. Like it's got to be so, it would be so wrong to step on her. And that's the fun of the process of the singer making the words have color, and then you hopefully can play with the color that you're given.
Giving it some paper for the color to stand out on.
Yeah.
Was there a length of poem that ended up because her poems run the gamut of being very long and
very
very,
short.
very short.
Yeah.
But was there like a sweet spot, I guess stanza-wise, that worked really well for this project?
That's still revealing itself, really, I think.
How many poems have you adapted so far?
Well, so far 6, and I have another 2 that I wouldn't say are finished, but I would like to do 12. I'd like to do a
Good
dozen.
old-fashioned album.
Yeah, good old side A and side B.
But some
and
of
the
them are very short, for sure.
Some of them are very
Yeah.
short,
Yeah.
and when I started writing them, the title "This World Is Not Conclusion," which is such an amazing just sentence or whatever, to begin with. Like, I don't think her poetry is about conclusion. So the fact that you might have a collection of songs that, that song doesn't end on the one, what we call in music, it ends
it
on.
doesn't resolve.
Because another song's going to come after it, which is, her thinking about something else. And so that's, it's nice to sort of let a piece of music become what it is on its own.
Yeah, but and not to answer your question, I suppose, not to have a preconceived, well, it has to fill this space. It's more like it's going to fill whatever space it's going to fill,
Yeah.
for whichever one it is. And they're all very different moods.
They're all very
For
different.
sure.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, Eilish, have you, being from Ireland, have you heard about the play that was brought about here in the
Yes,
Valley
I
about
have.
Emily Dickinson, the
Yeah.
Celtification
Yes,
of
I
Emily
have.
Dickinson, Margaret Marr? So
Yeah.
there is these natural, it seems all of a sudden, new identities surrounding Emily Dickinson and Ireland, I guess.
That's true. Yeah, I'd heard about that the last time. Actually, when we did visit, I actually saw a poster about that, and then I think we're going to meet a couple of those people.
Oh yeah,
hopefully.
Rosemary Kane, ask her to bring her
Yeah,
harp.
yeah. Shout out
She's
to
very-
Rosemary.
Yes, it could be.
Also, shout out before we finish to a wonderful woman, Mairead Carney O'Shea, who at age 102 has just passed away. She was the last Blasket Island-born resident of Springfield. So shout out to all the Carney family and her daughter Teresa and all of them, because she was a wonderful lady who I was lucky enough to meet last September. So yeah, amazing.
Well, you have an opportunity to meet these folks tomorrow night at the Drake in Amherst, right down the street from Emily Dickinson's house. Hear this beautiful music in Irish, as well as the poems of Emily Dickinson set to music by Peter Blanchett and sung by the fabulous Eilish Kennedy. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank you
again
so
in the
much.
studio here.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, our pleasure. In a little bit, we'll hear more about the Glasgow Lands Scottish Festival from founder Peter Langmore and one of the members of the oldest operating pipe band in the continent.
A much louder version of Celtic music coming up.
But before that, we'll hear from word nerd Emily Brewster and find out what the word restaurant can teach us about the rest of the language.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar, helping customers make the switch to solar for savings, energy security, and tax incentives. Learn more at northeast-solar.com. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Window World of Western Mass, a local family business with experienced craftsmen offering wood, vinyl, and composite windows. windowworldofwesternma.com.
We were at the same party the other night.
Oh, yeah? What party?
Just a private party, a friend's birthday party, and she was DJing.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
When your files are corrupted, you can't save them, no.
What files got corrupted?
It's not me. It's Katie's having a problem.
Oh.
Wait, listening to it, something in a session wouldn't play, and I'm like, oh yeah, that file's corrupted.
Yeah.
She's like, how do I fix it? I'm like, well, you could defrag it, but like, I feel like that's a little over
That might not
your
sa-
technology grade.
It might not save it either, yeah.
You gotta do it again.
How do you like all that nerd talk, Emily Brewster?
I'm still pausing on the word corrupt and thinking about how the word cursed is maybe doing a similar thing.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the language.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah, cursed files, corrupted files.
Yeah.
Right.
Affect
right.
us
But
all.
now, I mean, my son will show me cursed videos.
Oh.
What does that mean?
And
It's
it
like The
means-
Ring.
Is it?
It doesn't mean that it's damaged.
Yeah.
I mean, it's socially damaged. It will damage those who watch it.
Yeah, like
is
The
kind of
Ring.
the idea.
Oh,
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, like The Ring.
Is
Or
it like
like-
that Momo thing? Where it was like the thing where you would see Momo, this image,
Yeah.
and then it was supposed to like people die after.
Wait. What is
Yeah, and then
Momo?
like the Slender Man stuff.
Oh, and Slender Man, yeah.
Oh, what is it? Not copy pasta. It's creepy pasta.
Creepy pasta.
yeah. Yeah, that Momo thing scares me.
What is Momo? I don't-
Looking away.
I don't know why you brought that.
Supposedly.
Oh, Momo is as. Oh wow, that's okay. Huh. Oh no.
Why would you do this right before the Senate vote?
Scary.
Right before the Senate vote.
Emily Brewster, resident wordster from Merriam-Webster and restaurateur, which we've mentioned before on the show, co-owner of The Rendezvous in Turner's Falls. Restaurants and restaurateurs is what we're going to talk about linguistically today.
It's where you take your relatives on vacation of a whole country and let them sleep.
A restaurateur.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. Join me for Experiencing Europe.
The word is, of course, French. Both words are French, of
Right.
course. Do you know what the meaning of the French word is?
No.
The ultimate root?
No.
It's the word restore, like
Oh.
which is also right. It's this idea of restoring.
That makes
18th
a lot of
century
sense.
phenomenon. The restaurant is as a concept,
Right.
originally French, and inherent in the word is this idea that this is a place where you go to be restored.
And rest as well, like the rest would give you the restoration, like the concept of taking it easy.
Well, they have the same Latin root. Those words are all tied together.
And I think it might also come from the fact that early restaurants were always tied to inns. You would go there, you would eat, and you would rest.
But that was something that actually predates restaurants.
Right.
So that was a tavern, similar to a hostel, a place like a guest inn where
Right.
you would stay and the proprietor would feed you.
Right.
But a restaurant as a standalone entity dates to the, I don't know, like 1760s or so, which is surprisingly new to me because restaurants are now so ubiquitous.
Does that explain the au rant part?
No, but we're going to talk about the orant part because that is linguistic. That is, linguistically a very interesting part of this. So in the word restaurant, that it has that ANT ending. That ANT ending is analogous to the English ING ending. Restaurant, of course, is a noun, but in French, at the time that it was borrowed, it was, and it still is actually, a verb. So the ANT ending on English words, and we have a ton of them, they all come from this particular French suffix ANT that in French is a verb, but in English is a noun. And it's similar, I said it was analogous to ING because it's very similar to our ING that transforms a verb into a noun sometimes. It's the present participle. We can say, I swim, I am swimming, but then swimming can also function as a noun. Like swimming is a great thing to do when it's super hot outside.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that ANT ending that we have on all these words in English is very, very much like the ing in swimming is blah, 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 or singing is blah, blah, blah. It functions both as a verb and in English now it's only a noun.
So sometimes I like to go to Indian resting places and eat food.
And do you feel
When you call
restored?
it Indian
I
resting
do
places,
feel
it sounds like
restored
something very
after
different.
being there because they have fed me.
Yeah.
So restauranting is kind of a verb and a noun.
Resting.
It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet, which is definitely a verb. It's an action.
It is an action. All you can eat buffeting.
Oh.
Did these sound like the actions of a man who had all he could eat? No, not at all. That could have been me.
Until you are inactive from having indulged.
Yes.
Right, like because then you can't move. We have the other word restaurateur, which those two words got borrowed from French into English at the same time. Both words in French referred to the place, the restaurant, what we would now call the restaurant. And when English borrowed them, English also borrowed the meanings for them. So the word restaurateur was originally the place also. Restaurant, restaurateur were both the place. And then eventually the meaning of restaurateur shifted into the person who restores, because that's also inherent in the idea of the French word restaurateur. Restaurant was a verb about like restoring. This is a place of restoring. Restaurateur was this is a place of being restored originally in the French.
I was today years old when I learned that it was restaurateur, not restaurateur.
Yeah, that's also what we're here to talk about.
So I guess I'm not alone in this.
Oh, very, very much not alone. And actually, in the Merriam-Webster.com dictionary, we include both as head words, and there is no stigma attached to it either, because the anglicized version, which inserts the N, is so well established in the language. So there's no shame in saying restaurateur, but the older and I suppose more formal way to say the word and to spell the word also would be without the N, as restaurateur.
Restaurateur.
But that version of it definitely sounds closer to the original meaning.
It does, yeah. And, historically, it's really just about the fact that the ANT is this French suffix that means ing. It's a fact about the French language that is irrelevant to English speakers, but it's this fact about the French language that is why we have these two variants.
Cool.
I'm trying to think of other words in English that end in this aunt.
I mean, I can't.
Or ant. A restaurant.
I mean, I can't think of ones that are like nouns. The only one I could think of was pleasant.
Oh, right, as an adjective. Okay. Well, what about, I can only think of an annoying one. Pedant. A pedant.
Oh, yeah.
Descendant.
Yep. Peasant.
Yeah, all of those. And there are really so many. Deviant.
Oh, yeah.
Also serves as an adjective, yes, because we do this to words in English anyway, there are very, very, very many of them. I'm sure if we were all not recording this, we would be able to come up with 100 of them.
Tenant.
In very quick fashion. Tenant. Yes, tenant's a good one. Right. Tenant comes from a word tenir, means to hold. So the tenant was one who was holding.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remnant also, one that remains.
I love this.
This is awesome.
Occupant.
Oh,
yeah.
One who's occupying.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Participant.
Participating. Yeah. It's funny when you think about it, right? You can kind of squint and see a verb in there.
We'll now always see, whenever I'm walking around and I'm looking outside and I see these little ants, I'll think of them as ings, because restaurant is like restoring.
Thanks, ants.
Thanks, ants.
Thanks. I love how this is now snowballing, and now I can't stop thinking of like, oh yeah, and this word, and this word.
Yeah, there really are so many. And it's funny to me that the word restaurateur was still being used, was synonymous to the word restaurant. So I don't know how common this was. I don't know if in the 1960s or people were saying, some people are saying like, oh, let's go to that Indian restaurant. And other people are saying, let's go to that Indian restaurateur. But the two words were used synonymously like that. And then restaurateur became restricted in its meaning only to the person who owns the restaurant.
Mm-hmm. How and why did that happen?
I think it was because of the elevation of the idea of a particular restaurant. And as the prestige of restaurants grew, there was this interest, kind of a cultural interest in the person who ran the place, or the person who was the face of the place. So you think about fancy restaurants of the 1950s and 60s, and before then also in the U.S., these restaurants like the Ritz and, these restaurants are associated with very fancy hotels. And the person who was in charge of that was a person who needed a title for sure, because that person was of great interest.
They couldn't just go with general manager. They had to make it sound fancy in French.
Yes.
Restaurateur.
Right. But now the word restaurateur seems to be decreasing in use. And I think that it's because of a similar phenomenon, which is that it's now more interesting culturally to talk about and to know about the chef owner.
Oh yeah.
Or like the emphasis is on not the person who writes the checks that pays the mortgage, right? But the person who actually is responsible for what goes on the plate.
And we definitely hear and see that trend a lot in our area, the chef owner of this or that restaurant.
Well, I think you see it a lot more, period. Like there isn't as much of a movement of like somebody who opens restaurants and then hires chefs. Chefs go out and open their own restaurants.
Right.
But Emily Brewster, old school restaurateur. Not the chef owner of the Rendezvous, but a co-owner not doing any chefing.
Not doing any chefing.
Or a chef-haunt.
I used to be behind the bar. I certainly will still bus tables on a busy night if I have to. But I've never done a blessed thing in the kitchen.
So we talked about how the ANT is like an ING in English for restaurant, the restoring. The occupant is occupying. But talk about the tour part, the ur.
Or the ur, yeah. Because
and does it have to, like the auteurs, I think of, it's, people that filmmakers are often referred to as auteurs. What does the EUR mean?
Because you see it in entrepreneur also without the T.
Yeah. Manure.
That's a different spelling.
That's a fancy way to say you're a landscaper.
Wow.
Manure.
That's a stretch.
Or maybe a farmer. We'll call farmers.
Farmer.
Manure.
Farmure.
Yeah, it's not actually anything very interesting. It's just the equivalent of our OR ending, but it's more French. What it actually probably says is that all of these words that have that EUR ending were borrowed more recently than the ones that have the OR ending. So in English, we have anglicized most of these words. The words we borrowed longer ago, we've given them nice, normal, uncomplicated OR endings. But words like chauffeur and restaurateur and amateur, we've kept the French spelling, basically.
But even that OR indicates a person who's doing this thing. Like a conductor is a person who conducts.
Author,
right.
A person who
Right. Doctor, one who docks.
I mean, release all your documents? Like the Epstein
no,
files?
right.
Oh my God.
No, but that is where that Actually, okay, doctor, no. Doctor never, from what I can tell, doctor never had an EUR ending. It did have an OUR ending, but I think it's funny to think of it as having a former EUR ending. But no, in medieval Latin, it was still spelled the way we spell it now.
And ER has a different origin, ending-wise.
ER, I believe, is just solid Old English.
I know that doctors work in the ER.
How helpful. That's very helpful.
No, just George Clooney, once upon a time.
This just isn't the kind of case you can just poach out of the ER.
Noah Wiley in that now Emmy-nominated show, The Pit.
He went back.
Yeah. Back to being a
He
doctor
started
on
there
television.
and went back to being a doctor in the ER on television.
Yeah.
You might have a measles outbreak. Just goes to show you how old I am.
That show is stressful as all get out.
Is that stressful as me watching The Bear?
Chef owner.
Yeah, I can't watch that one.
Thank you.
I need some more hands here, guys. What do we got? They got a focaccia that's to table 20.
I love it.
Yeah, the ER is an old, it goes back to Old English.
Well, this is a fascinating look at the way French makes its way into English here. Now I will never see that ANT at the end of a word like restaurant and not think of it as ING, where we're restoring.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have done that for you.
Oh, now one is in my head that I definitely can't say on this radio show.
Well, we'll say it off the air during the underwriting. Thank you, Emily Brewster.
Thank you, Monty and Khalees.
It was nice to see you at that party.
Yeah, it was super fun to see you at that party. You did. The music was amazing.
Thanks.
It was exactly what I needed to make my legs really sore the next day.
Yay.
If you've got a question for the word nerd, you can send it our way, thefab413@nepm.org.
Now we shall grab our tartans and get ready to head off to Florence to gather our kin and make merry at the Glasgow Lands Scottish Festival, which turns 30 this Saturday.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. This Saturday on July 19th, we're in July, Look Park will be filled with pipers, drummers, caber tossers, reel dancers, weavers, harpists, and more as the 30th annual Glasgow Lands Scottish Festival happens.
Real dancers? Are they opposed to imaginary dancers?
They dance reels.
Oh, we'll figure that out a little bit later. A full 9-hour affair, including over 700 pipers, games, dancing, whiskey tastings, and much more happening as part of this year's festivities. And to walk us through all the goings-on are two men in Stuart tartan kilts.
Peter Langmore is the founder of this Glasgow Lands Scottish Festival, and Roger Bernier is the pipe major for the Holyoke Caledonian Pipe Band, the oldest continuously operating pipe band in the continent, in all of North America.
True?
True story.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
We have two kilts, but one set of bagpipes in here.
Yes.
And I think we should start out with a bagpipe tune. First time ever in this studio.
Yeah, because last time we went down to the TV studio to play the bagpipes.
So we didn't annoy Kari and Jiri, who's getting ready for the newscasts and things like that.
He's going to be delighted, and so are we.
He was excited seeing them all come in here. All right, let's hear some real piping from the pipe major for the Holyoke Caledonian Pipe Band, Roger Bernier. We had to use one microphone very far away in the studio so we didn't blow out these NPR-y microphones.
Absolutely worth it. Bagpipes are just so cool.
They really are. Although I want to be the first bagpiper in history that's going to be like, you know what? I'm not learning Scotland the Brave. Something a bagpiper has. It's required.
It's required.
I think so.
It's required. And also, it's just fun to do. And I feel like that's going to be one of the songs that really stands out at the beginning of the Glasgow Lands Scottish Festival, because at the beginning, when this happens, all of the piping groups come together for your opening ceremonies, which leads to there being a little over 700 pipers.
That's correct.
In Florence.
Yes.
And Williamsburg is upset with the noise coming from Look Park, I'm sure.
Roger, I imagine that you're part of leading this band as one of the older piping groups that's a part of this. Is it hard to organize all 700 of them to be to do the things at the same time? I mean, they know the same music, well-ish, but like, is it hard to get that many people playing the same thing at the same time?
So I'm not actually part of that, but they have drum majors that take and organize all the bands. I know at other events they'll bring the pipers in because there's so many of them. They'll bring them in waves, and each wave will be playing a different tune, and that's up to whoever's directing that particular wave that's coming in.
Cool. Is that just makes it easier to coordinate, I'd imagine.
Yes, it does.
Apart from all the music, and the pipe music and the drum music, and there's competitions where people will compete for in these musical categories, but there's also big stage entertainment. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I can. So on the stage, which we call it the Celtic pub because that's where the beer, wine, and mead are. And this year we have back Almanac, which is a very popular Celtic rock band. They've been with us for many, many, many years. And Devil's Brigade, who used to be called American Rogues, but Devil's Brigade will be here for the first time. I think there's 7 members to that band. And Waking Finnegan, who are from Vermont or New Hampshire, I think, actually. So they'll be on the stage and all day long into the evening,
Yeah.
There's also athletics, feats of daring do, and one of the ones that we are always kind of joking about is the caber toss.
Well, because it's the most. A lot of the games are like real hard, like feats of strength, but the caber in particular, because it's basically you picking up a telephone pole and making sure that you get a full rotation out of it before it hits the ground.
Yeah, and as somebody who gathered together with 10 Italians in the south end of Springfield last week to try to lift up a 30-foot, 800-pound telephone pole that they would then subsequently grease and have people climb on Sunday afternoon, this sport is now right up my alley.
There you go.
And you, Peter, have brought in a to-scale model caber here.
Yeah, it is great.
It's behind you right there. So he's gonna scooch back there and grab the caber.
And it's
kilt blowing in the wind.
It has the specs that it's going to have.
I cut this down yesterday in my yard. This is 6 feet long.
Okay.
3 times 18 feet, that's a typical caber. It's 5.7 pounds and 14 times 80 pounds to 120 pounds. So an 18 to 20 foot caber, 80 to 120 pounds, and you have to pick it up. I can't do it in here. Pick it up by the bottom, and like you said, flip it over.
It's rotating
so
in the air.
So it burns at 12 o'clock.
180 degrees.
Yep.
Yes.
And then whoever tosses it the farthest, then they win.
Well, it's really, it's not sort of the farthest. It's getting it straight ahead or to the left or the right. If you're at 12 o'clock, perfect score.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's not distance.
Flip it and no, it's not just
it's
distance.
time.
Yeah, it's accuracy and rotation.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's one of the many games that will be part of the Glasgow Lands Scottish Festival happening Saturday, July 19th at Look Park. And we are joined by the founder of that festival, Peter Langmore, as well as the Holyoke Caledonian Pipe Major, Roger Bernier.
Peter, can you talk a little bit about your new partnership with the Irish Heritage Association out of West Springfield? Because they're one of the groups that's come in to support this event.
Yes, they do. So that's the Irish Cultural Center. And they do. We do work with them. We're going to do a rugby demonstration, but I think because of various things, the Springfield Rifles, they weren't able to do it. But we have, a lot. There's so much going on. I can't. You mentioned Scotland the Brave. You like. Well, if you're there, you're going to hear it both at opening ceremonies, and the bands will play it. Among other things, they're playing 3 other the Bonnie D. Dunn and Bonnie Dundee and Green Hills of Tyrol. But excitingly, at opening ceremonies, not only do we have a woman who is part of the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation for Autism. She is singing the national anthem. She did it last year, Sabrina Aslam. And then to play Scotland the Brave and O Canada, a violin and a bagpipe from band Waking Finnegan, and our own Julie Pike to sing Flower of Scotland. She's one, like I've been with the festival since day one.
So cool.
And this is 30 years that you're celebrating.
Yes,
this
30.
weekend.
30 years, Monty. Yeah.
The second biggest Scottish festival in
New England.
New England. Where's the first again?
It's Loon Mountain.
Forget that. We're gonna outstripe them at one point or another.
Last year we had more pipe bands than any other Scottish festival on the East Coast.
That's awesome.
Love that.
When did the Weavers become a part of it?
Loris Epps is the Weavers Guild of Springfield, and she was at the first festival. The Weavers, and then we have the Celtic music of Rosie Kane.
Oh, yeah. So we just mentioned when we had our previous guests on, because she wrote as part of a play that talks about the Irish woman who brought Emily Dickinson's poems to life.
Yeah, so she's got a whole Harper's Guild that's going to be
there.
Yeah,
Rosie, what an incredible woman. And she's been, they're just amazing. So, yes, they will be there with their harps. And
that is Peter Langmore, who's the founder of the Glasgow Lands Scottish Festival. We're also joined by Roger Bernier from the Holyoke Caledonian Pipe Band. Roger, what made you want to learn the bagpipes?
So I'm a firefighter by trade. And years ago, in I think it was 1999, Worcester Fire had their cold storage fire, and they lost 6 of their members. And I was lucky enough to make it into the Worcester Centrum for the funeral. And I believe it was Boston had a pipe band at the time, Boston Fire, and those guys came in, and it just, hair on the back of my neck stood up, and it was just so impressive. That was probably the biggest reason for me wanting to take up the bagpipes. And my wife is Scottish Irish, so she always gives me a hard time because I didn't want bagpipes at our wedding.
I had bagpipes in mine.
And now I play for other people's weddings. So she lets everybody know her feelings on that subject.
I didn't even get bagpipes at my wedding.
Yeah, she accompanied you here, but I do notice she didn't want to be in the studio with you.
Yeah,
so maybe it's a more divisive part of the relationship than you previously.
Well, you never know.
How hard is it to lead the oldest? Like there's legacy for the group that you're the pipe major for.
Yeah, there is. It's a group effort, honestly. I'm basically in charge of just the musical direction of the band. So I'm the one that picks out the music if we, introducing new music or what music we're going to play at our different events that we take part in. So, and there's a lot of organizing with emails and stuff, getting people at where they need to be at the right time and making sure they're wearing the correct uniform. So
yes. What is the name of the thing in front of your kilt called again?
Sporin.
Sporin.
Yeah.
It's like what I put on when I get a sprained ankle or whatever.
Minus
Neosporin?
Minus the Neo.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Those Sporin glow in the dark. I would encourage you, if you are interested in this at all, to go look at the competitions, the entertainment, the lists at glasgowlands.org, because you will be astounded at how many bands are coming to this thing.
And what we're doing. I mean, you can get tickets now, anytime, and tickets at the gate. But I think you'll be surprised at how much is going on and what we're doing.
It's right in our backyard at Look Park in Florence.
Yeah, for a full 10 hours. Yeah. 10 hours of activity. They
I'm
start
hear
at
Scotland
11:30
15 times
and go
over that
until
day.
9:30. We didn't even get into the dancing. The reels are the thing I maybe know the most about because I know several, but there's going to be dancing, there's going to be music, there's going to be drinking, there's going to be so much merriment for the Glasgow Lands Scottish Festival. Peter Langmore, one of the founders of the festival, and Roger Bernier, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this because this is a thing that I love.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
On the next Fabulous 413, we will be there to help unveil the new W.E.B. Du Bois sculpture in Great Barrington. And we'll be joined by U.S. Congressman Jim McGovern. We'll see you tomorrow.